Market falls back after gapping up this morning here. As you can see on the first hour, we gapped up, and for 2 hours, S&P 500 printed new all-time highs here. And then as you can see on the third hour, we came back down, filled that up gap. But what people don't realize is for the longest time, and the down gap was never filled. As you can see, this was again back in July. That down gap happened during July. So that all-time high down gap, right? When you gap down, bulls got up here, failed to fill the down gap, the entirety of it. And then there was another down gap and we came back down and finally, so what happened was, this is really important that a lot of people not realizing with the move this morning, first 2 hours, though it failed, what happened was finally the down gap from July, mid-July was finally filled. Think about that. It took 2 months to finally fill that down gap.
Perfect.
And that's what caused this downturn right here in early September of this month, and pretty much all throughout the end of July. And it was imperative for the bulls to make sure to fill that entirety of down gap so that they can finally kill that selling pressure. So when the gap fill happened, the July down gap was filled, right? Because we gapped it over. Technically, we did briefly created island up gap, but then obviously that was filled on that third hour, and that's what that candle is all about. And then it was flirting with that micro term for a couple hours here on the fourth and fifth. On the last hour, as you can see, we did break above. We reclaimed the micro term at least on the last hour. Only problem is because we didn't see a follow through after that up gap this morning, because we fell back down after gapping up. That oscillator initially crossed up here, as you can see, and it whips up back down. So you see that oscillator was hitting that extreme overbought zone right here, as you can see, Monday. And we reset it a little bit right here. And then today it came right back down towards after, when the market faded back down, filling that up gap from this morning. And during that process, what happened was the price cultivated that higher high, right? That's high, higher high. However, the oscillator cultivated lower high. So we have, this is a smaller size, especially on the 65-minute chart here. We have a small size bearish divergence. So as you can see, that oscillator is rolling over while the price is trying to get above that micro term. So we have a little bit of discrepancies here with the price and the oscillator. So when we do see something like this, something is gonna have to follow, right? Either price keep going higher, right, and then the oscillator is gonna follow back up, or we're gonna see the oscillator keep coming down and that price sort of follows. But it gets a little bit more complicated than that. It's not, when the market is in this buying pressure, right, and build a lot of momentum, what could potentially happen is, this is what I call correction through time, where buyers, this is a strategic way for the buyers to fully reset that oscillator while keeping that price sideways or consolidating. That's another option, right? So should there be any kind of declines here, 559, it's going to be the gap fill area. It's going to be the next level of support. We got my short-term moving average right here at 556. Mid-term is 554. I put a little fib there, 50%, which is also 553. So A lot of supports in this vicinity right here. Fib area, short term, mid term, and the gap. So you know, if bulls want to keep this momentum going, they do not want to bring this price all the way back down to the bottom of the span. If they want to see a little pullback and then continue with the higher low and higher high and establish an uptrend, and that's what you want to look for. If we do see any kind of steep decline, but again, there's a possibility we might just consolidate here, keep that oscillator a bit stabilized, and then when that oscillator is ready to gap back up, then that's when the bull's gonna thrust and have the